This video review was made possible by a generous donation from fellow toy customizer Artking3000, who has criminally few subscribers. I'm going to link his channel below so you can go take a look at him, because he does some pretty good stuff too.
Hello my friends, this is Wakeangel2K1 coming at you with a review of the Jakks Pacific Dr. Eggman figure. Yes, this was a gift from fellow YouTube and DeviantArt user Artking3000. He is a fellow toy customizer who, I've established a friendship with over the years. And when I said that I was having a difficult time finding these Sonic figures because I live in New York, which even under the best circumstances is usually one of the last places to get new waves of toys. Like seriously, I believe that the shipments go eastward, so it starts at the West Coast and then comes here. So New York is usually the last place, and because of the COVID pandemic, they've been like with international shipping even slower than it is before. My little corner of the country is actually really lagging behind in the new waves of toys, as you know, since it's a non-essential. But our king was able to find an extra Eggman, and he sent it to me. So the back, there's an actual character description. Look at that. An evil genius, Dr. Eggman has been battling Sonic for world domination. His intelligence allows him to build armies, mechanize landscapes, and construct weapons. I feel like that's a little bit redundant. I mean, if you can build armies, then we know you can construct weapons, dude. So breakdown of his articulation, 13 points. We'll get into that when we get him out of the box. And a preview of what the rest of the wave looks like, which includes Sonic, Tails, and Shadow. I find that Shadow's a pretty weird inclusion for Wave 1, but he is an insanely popular character, so I'll accept it. Although I have seen previews of what the second wave is going to look like, and it's going to have Sonic again, just with a different accessory. So you know what that means. I want the accessory, but I've no need for a second Sonic figure once I get that one. So in honor of the tradition of Wakeangel2K1, the toy customizer, I will make the first redundant Sonic the Hedgehog figure from Jakks Pacific into a Scourge custom when the time comes. But that's in the future, because I don't even have the first Sonic figure yet, so let's get on that after we take this Dr. Eggman out of the packaging. Oh, by the way, I like how he's posed up with his hands up in a gesticulating fashion, like, I hate that hedgehog! So, yeah, like, props on the packaging for having a little bit of personality infused in it right off the bat. Okay, so let's get him out of that box and see what the figure itself is like. And here he is out of the packaging, and I gotta say, this actually is one of the most articulated Dr. Eggman figures I've ever seen, at least if you actually count up the point of articulation. But is he the most posable? Let's find out. So the first thing, let's get a breakdown of his articulation. He has a swivel head, although it doesn't move far because the mustache starts to impact the collar. The shoulders are pin disked, although it's hard to get them to go down because of the shape of his body. Elbows are properly pin disked as well, so he has a bicep swivel as well as an elbow bend. And the wrists are ball jointed, so you can rotate them, and you can have him like gesticulate towards himself a little bit better. Yes, that's a thing you can do. Other arm is exactly the same thing, except that he has a fist instead of an open gesticulating hand. Legs are also on pin discs. They don't move. They don't get a lot of forward and backwards motion, but they did a cut into the lower part of his body so that his legs can actually go outwards. So, despite the fact that he can't really step forward that far, he can actually get a full-on. I guess it's specifically for this pose, although it looks rather painful. Knees are also pin discs, so they can bend and they rotate. And the ankles are on ball joints, but the ball is so deeply recessed that it's mostly just there as a swivel. Although it is the first time I've seen a bootcut swivel on Dr. Eggman, And being able to rotate the feet around actually does help with getting his legs into more action-oriented poses while keeping his feet rotated so that they still, have a bit of ground to stand on. He comes with one accessory. It is a spike trap. It's basically 5 cones sticking out of a plate. Yep. And it's very soft, so kids won't actually hurt themselves on it. Convenient. I mean, we've had lots of little accessories for Sonic over the years, but this is the first time I've actually seen a spike trap hazard. So, there you go. Okay, so let's get a closer look at his sculpting. Let's just say that is an immaculate mustache. I love how they layered the hair on it. Brilliant job. The rosacea on his nose could be a little bit pinker. Although it does have a nice gradient effect with the pinkest part at the tip, and then it gets more flesh colored as you go towards his face. The glasses are nicely painted with that whole shine spot that prevents you from seeing his actual eyes. I like how the goggles are picked out. You have the green lenses and the gray goggles themselves. And if you look in there, his teeth are sculpted. So, good teeth. The body looks good. Only thing is, because of joints, the sculpt is broken up in some places. Although when his elbows are fully bent in, the lines are complete. So I feel like they intended for him to have his elbows he's they want him to have his elbows all bent up like he's gesticulating and angry. Only thing about the sculpt that I think is a negative is on the back. That is a really obvious seam, and he has no waist joints, so there's no reason for it to be there. That's a really obvious seam. I don't like how obvious that seam is, but it's not the worst thing in the world, I guess. So yeah, and yes, the same details in the boots. Like everything is sculpted well except where you have to put lines in for joints, which is what we accept. So yeah, that is the Dr. Eggman action figure. So let's get in some comparisons. Let's do the Jakks Pacific Bendy, which is the same scale. Actually, it's kind of amazing. They gave him a visible mouth and chin on the actual action figure, whereas the Bendy, the Bendy does not have a visible mouth, as you can see. So they actually, I was thinking that they would use the exact same molds for the body and stuff and just make limbs instead of a whole big solid thing, but it looks like they had whole new molds casted for this because it's not just the Bendy but an action figure. And of course, why don't we briefly take out the Jakks Pacific, the Jazzwares Dr. Eggman, which was previously the most iconic. It's interesting, the bent knee stance that he has affects his height a little bit, but he's not really significantly taller than the Jazzwares Eggman. He's not even a head taller. Although, the detail sculpt in the face is significantly more impressive. You got the lenses, you have the multi-layers on the mustache, you have teeth, whereas this has none. So, the upscaling did allow them to cram in a few more details, but it's not super detailed compared to it. Although I do like how they made his mustache more cartoony orange rather than slightly more realistic brown. I don't know why they had to go with a more brown shade, but it's really something that I didn't notice too much at the time, but now that you see the correct color, you're like, whoa, how did I ever live with that? Why didn't I repaint it myself? And of course, I wouldn't be me if I wasn't flexing the size of my Sonic collection, so let's bring out the original Toy Island Eggman, made back in the Sonic Adventure days. Oh yes, remember this? This nightmare fuel? Yeah, looking a bit hunched there, my friend. Yeah, his wonky legs, his beak-like nose, And still, despite being larger, the lenses on his goggles still aren't painted in. Oh, wow. Actually, now that I have this, let's see. I can put that out, bend that knee, bring this up, bend that knee, bring this down like this, and yes, he can totally approximate the stand of the Toy Island Eggman figure. That's fun. I like that. That's a fun idea. Like, remember, aside from a few deviations, it's not like the character design has changed that much over the years. It's just their ability to render it better. But, you know, I'm not gonna come down. Okay, so yeah, there we go. That's oh, you know what? I guess, like, I've been comparing him to all the other Eggman figures, and I don't have the Sonic figure yet, but I guess there are Sonic figures I can compare him to, so let's do that real quick and then wrap this up. Alright, I pose Eggman with his arms up so that they won't be in the way. You can see the size comparison with the 3-inch Sonic figures made by Tomy and Jazzwares. Yeah, I gotta say, now that it's over, I can tell you I don't really like Tomy's action figure of Sonic that much. Like, it's very bland. Like, when I look at the Jazzwares Sonic figure, I see expressiveness. I see, you know, Sonic captured as an action figure. This kind of looks like a doll of Sonic. Like, if this was a Sonic the Hedgehog mannequin from his world. Like, it just doesn't have as much life in it, you know? And this is one of the early Jazzwares figures, as you can see, like, it's the Black Knight figure, which, you know, was released within the first 2 years of the license. So, yeah. Sorry, Tomy, you tried, but Jakks Pacific is clearly outdoing you. Of course, we'll have to be the ultimate judge of that when I get my hands on the actual Jakks Pacific Sonic figure. Although it should be about this size when it comes out, since this was the exact same size as the Eggman Bendy. This should be the exact same size as the Sonic articulated figure. And you know what? I still think this scale works. Okay, now there's the thing. You have the scale as described in the actual, like, in the character descriptions, they say that Sonic is 3.5 feet tall. So this would be a good height for him. So if you have your Jazzwares Sonic figures, he actually would stand next to Eggman perfectly in scale. So if you're that kind of scale person, this Eggman, this Sonic, perfect. But if the classic Sonic was 3.5 feet tall, and then you go by generation scaling, you actually put modern Sonic to the top of his head, of course, almost 4'10", almost 5 feet tall. That's actually relatively, that's not short at all, really. I mean, it is short for a human, but then this scaling becomes good. So I feel like the people who work in the Jakks Pacific Scaling Company are actually like me, and they like the fact that modern Sonic is actually taller than classic Sonic's character bio, because, you know, that's kind of how it should be. But let's not get into the politics of the scaling, even if I'm totally right and everyone else is wrong. But yeah, like, this fits me. Like, hey, Jakks Pacific. Like, it's almost like you made this line specifically for Wakeangel2K1, biggest Sonic fan on YouTube. So, I approve. So yes, I'm really, really hoping that I'll be able to get my hands on the proper 4-inch Sonic figure that's an actual action figure and not a bendy soon. And I do have another friend from DeviantArt who is hooking me up with the 2.5-inch line, which he managed to find at a local store. A different guy from Art King. And I'm really looking forward to getting my hands on those 2.5-inch scaled figures as well. But on his own, Dr. Eggman, the Jakks Pacific figure, is awesome. He is a great figure. He comes with an interesting little accessory, and let's see if they actually make an Egg-O-Matic hovercraft for him to sit in. I doubt it because it would be kind of huge, but I can dream, can't I?